All right, folks, welcome back. Episode 10, postseason pod. Myself, Bryce, coming at you Sunday after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a very good American Thanksgiving, I guess.
Mm.
Um, Final stretch before the holiday season here. And we're excited to talk to you about the NHL season. There's a lot going on surrounding the holiday, a lot of games before, a lot of games after. Games going on as we speak right now, currently, and starting pretty soon. So, this episode, we're going to highlight some Four Nations roster takes, what we like, what we don't like, look at some projections, and maybe disagree with some and agree with others. So, um, anything you'd like to add prior to the getting into the rosters?
No, I mean I'm excited for an NHL best tournament. I mean, it'll be interesting. It's what, 5 games, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean I can't really say anything besides that, really.
Yeah, agree. I think best on best is something NHL's needed for a while. Good precursor to the Olympics here in 2 years. So, um, I have some roster predictions. I have some written down right over here. We're gonna start with Scandinavia. I'm gonna go to Finland first.
Yeah.
I have my first line of the Finland team being Arturi Lehkonen, Barkov, and Rantanen. I think that's probably pretty universal um, for many people. Just Lehkonen's a guy you can put with anybody. Barkov, the best. Like he's just the best. And then Rantanen, who uh, came out earlier this week that maybe he's
14
seeking
mil.
$14 million on his next contract. He's definitely. I don't know if he's $14 million good. I guess when you compare him to Drysaitel, I'd take him and Drysaitel sort of on the same pedestal potentially. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go with those three. First, second line, I'm gonna throw a little wrench potentially. I'm having Matthias Michelli, second line left wing. I know you love
I
that take.
love
That's
that.
your guy. That's your boy. I'm gonna have him with Hints, and then I'm unsure about this, but it's because the third line I love and it brings back some memories. Anton Lundell, second line wing. He's more of a center. Switch him and Hints, whatever. Get some more speed down the wing. But Lundell and Barkov are sort of mirror images of each other. So excited to see what that line would bring. And then the third line, if anybody watched the 2016 World Junior, this was like the best thing since sliced bread. These three guys in the same line. Aho, Line, and Jesse Puljujärvi. So I'm going Puljujärvi, Aho, and Line, third line. Hopefully, Line should be back from his injury.
Yeah.
He's already skating with a non-contact injury. And then fourth line, I'm going Halla, Granlund, and Luosterainen. So that's my forward core. Any objections, thoughts, agrees, disagrees?
No, I think I completely agree, and I like how you added in Michelli because one of my things was I've seen a lot of people include Eli Tolvanen, and I don't agree.
Yeah.
Like you said, like the speed down the wing, like Michelli, like Lundell, like Finland's like, put it this way, like Finland's like a sneaky dark horse that like people are gonna, like once they realize, like I completely agree with your forwards. Maybe like it's hard because like Grenlin has like been unreal so far this
I
year,
know. I know he's been super good.
but um, did um, did you? I know
Well,
I've seen.
I also have on here that I would switch Granlund and Lundell if things got so it'd be Michelli, Hintz, Granlund, and then Lundell centering the fourth line.
Mhm.
So maybe that's a little bit better of an option for a little bit more skill up front and a little bit more defensive minded player on the fourth line. So, but
Would you Sorry.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So you obviously line A will have tons of time before like the start, but like, how do you feel about the Fugazi fans, the Rangers throwing in like Capo Caca or something like
I
that?
don't mind that. I was
You don't
actually
mind?
if I didn't want Pugliarvi, Aho, and Line reunited, I would put Capo on that third line. Um, I think he's played pretty like well enough.
Hmm.
He had a big goal yesterday, late in the game for the Rangers to win the game over Montreal. But yeah, I think he sort of blossomed a little bit here in the um, early fourth of the season, I guess you could say, 25 games in. So yeah, I don't mind that play at all. But yeah, I just wanted some nostalgia, and I know those three players know how to play with each other. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in terms of, hey, you're not together for a while. You need guys that can gel pretty quickly, and those guys have had some history with the Team Finland jersey on already. So that was sort of my thinking going into that. But I'm going to go on to the D next. Heiskanen and Lindell. They play together in Dallas. They're great. Heiskanen, he's fantastic. I don't really know what else
Yeah.
you would say. Uh, Ristolainen and Mikkola, second pair, two big bodies that can sort of skate well. Ristolainen sort of had a resurgence this year. Not to, top form, but he's not a liability anymore. And then I have Mata and Hakanpää, bottom pair.
Okay.
One thing I see, Hakanpää sort of had some injury early on as well. I think he's back with the big club in the Maple Leafs now. But I think one knock on the D for Finland is besides Heiskanen, like who's going to transport the puck. So I would have Yoki Haru as the seventh guy. So if you need someone else to transport the puck other than Heiskanen, that's who I would put in the lineup. And then I'm gonna have Saros as the starter, and then UPL as the backup. So I think those goalies are pretty universal. Corpusalo may be a third guy, but those two guys are definitely gonna uh, play the majority of the games for sure. Saros probably every game.
Yeah. I I I agree with your two, and I think my three would just be Lankinen, just to toss his name. He's been
Yeah.
doing pretty well. But I do not have Yanni Hakanpää in my. I have because you already alluded to the possible, I guess, critiques of the Finnish defensive lineup, like not having puck moving defensemen, and that's why I would slide in Välimäki. Um, he's kind of, for Utah, like that PP, not PP2, or but like a solid off, has a little offense about him. Young guy, like, so that's who, especially because like Hakanpää has. I don't even like think I've seen him in the lineup this year. Like
No,
he's
he
been.
hasn't, he hasn't played in the NHL yet.
Yeah, like so. I mean, just depending on how quickly he slots back into the Leafs lineup and like how quickly he gets up to game speed. Like, granted, this tournament's in February, so a lot of things can change. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Finland roster was probably um the least, like, what would you say, like, argumented, maybe,
Yeah, definitely
like
up for interpretation, up for opinion. But yeah, I think also another guy that I think could help move the puck. He hasn't played in the NHL this year either, or maybe just like a few games. But he was a first round pick, and he's sort of just in a standstill and neutral in his career. Ville Heinola for the Jets.
okay,
Um, so I don't think they're going to pick him just because he hasn't really played much, but he's a guy that was offensive in his younger years and up until the draft, and sort of hasn't found his footing in Winnipeg. But that's another guy that if he would have played start the season and started out well on that Jets roster, like most of those Jets players did, maybe he could have found himself in the roster. But yeah, I think I like Valimaki. I saw him on the projections, but I think um, I think if you can get a mix of size and defensive prowess, because I think for Finland you're going to need to block a lot of shots.
yeah, yeah,
Saros is going to have to steal a few games too.
100%.
Um, not saying Valimaki doesn't block shots, but that's just who I went with, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, ultimately it's up to whoever they want and whoever they see fit. But yeah, I think that was decent discussion on the Finns. I think they have an outside chance at winning potentially. Um, I think they do just because of their defensive minded centers.
Okay.
I think their centers are, you're gonna have Barkov, Aho, Lundell, and whoever else or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I think they have a chance if Saros can, stand on his head and they sort of limit going on the PK. Um, but yeah, so that's who I don't think they're gonna win, but I think there's a bigger chance than people are
I
giving them
figured so.
credit.
Okay.
Yeah. Next we're gonna stay in Scandinavia. We're gonna go to our folks over in Sweden. I'll start with the back end this time, just switch it up a little bit. I'm going Dahlin, Rasmus Anderson, Forsling, Hedman, Ekholm, and if he's healthy, which I believe he's back, Philip Broberg.
Okay. Like that.
Yeah,
I
so
like
I'm gonna
that.
I'm gonna throw the young guy in there. They have three great goalies: Gustafsson, Markstrom, and Ulmark. I would go Gustafsson right now, just because he's hot. Minnesota's been playing well. Markstrom's been playing well as well, but I would go Gustafsson for the first game just to see where he's at. But I think Broberg taking spots from Eric Carlson and some other older guys that probably deserve a shot as well. I mean, Carlson's been atrocious this year,
Horrible.
uh, but yeah, I think Sweden's one of those teams that invests in their younger guys and wants their younger guys to have some experience. Also, Hampus Lindholm, I left as the seventh defenseman. Um, so yeah, any questions or critiques about the defense?
No, I didn't think of Broberg. That's actually such a good shout.
Yeah.
No, I mean my defense was kind of looking the same. I was looking at the one of the project and they brought up a good point about having five left-handed shots.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously like that last defensive slot, like, if they do um care about righties and lefties, Adam Larson is a solid defense, shut down D man for Seattle, has a good shot from the point and he happens to be a righty.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sweden has like a lot of good defensemen like to choose from. Obviously, I don't see Eric Carlson cracking the top six at all. He got critiqued earlier from forget who, but someone a coach in Sweden, basically called like for him not to play.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like the Sweden defensive core. I like their goaltending. I like their forward core as well. I think Sweden's going to be uh a team that's not going to be easily pushed around. I think I really like the Sweden team, honestly.
And their jerseys are beautiful.
Oh yeah, like they always are,
Yeah.
like they always are.
Yeah.
You gotta love the three crowns.
I know. Let's go up top to the forwards. I'm gonna go my boy EP40 first line center, Elias Pettersson. Sort of picked it up as of late, which love to see. Actually, a lot of my boys on the first line. We got Jesper Bratt first line,
Yeah.
and then Philip Forsberg. I think that line's like fantastic, actually. Second line, I'm going Kempe, Eriksson Ek, and William Nylander. Nylander could go first line as well. I love Nylander, but maybe just get some offensive firepower through the top six and not just top load it. Um, I'm going Elias Lindholm, Zibanejad, and Fabian Zetterlund. He's
Yeah.
been playing unreal for the Sharks. Thought he deserved a spot on the team. And then I'm going Leo Carlson, William Carlson, and Lucas Raymond as the fourth line.
All right. Nice. Nice. Um, I you didn't say Rickard Rackle, did you?
No,
Okay. Good. Good. Good.
no.
Um, but I
Maybe it's the 13th guy, maybe.
yeah. I mean, I have a problem with leaving out. Um, I have a problem with including Zibanejad. Sorry, not leaving
Yeah,
out. That's like my, especially like you said Zetterlund, like Eklund has been like on, like he's a good young
yeah,
player.
William Macklin, yeah.
Like I get like Zibanejad's like the like veteran, like he's played for Sweden, he understands like what it like what what makes you, or no, like what comes with playing for Sweden, and like, I'm sure like when the grind gets tough, or whatever that saying is that I just don't know. When the going gets tough, he'll be fine. But I don't know. I think just the recency bias, maybe with the Rangers losing 1-6 in their last seven, or 1-5 in their last six, and him missing a few chances. And then Eklund just like having almost 30 points now on that San Jose team. Like, I don't know. I think this could be a good tournament, like you alluded to in the beginning, going into the Olympics in a few years. Like, maybe get like Eklund as the 13th guy, get him in around the guys. Like, he could be a great young talent for the future. So I would just steer away. And I think your lineup's great. I would just steer away from Zibanejad, honestly. I mean, that's just my opinion, but
Yeah, I like the Eklund shout. I think that's really good. Um, yeah, I'm a Zibanejad hater.
yeah,
Uh,
take
I think
Swede.
I think also there's I think a lot of people sort of forget like the defense side of the tournament. It's not like who scores the most goals.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think you'll see that a little bit with who I have on the Canadian team. Maybe left some guys out, but I think guys, Gustav Nyquist, really good. Marcus Johansson, really good. Michael Backlund, like
Yeah.
fantastic. Just, go out there to shut guys down. Alex Wenberg has sort of been pretty good. Nils Hoglander, he's been really good. He can slot in with a lot of different guys on different lines. Tocchet has sort of shown his versatility with using him up and down the lineup. Um, Shout out, if we're talking about recency bias, Simone Holmstrom. Um, but no, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm sort of annoyed. I sort of left out Backlund. I
We
think
have
he's
a lot of
definitely
good two-way guys on that team that you just said already. So,
exactly. I think that's just the case for the Scandinavian. Like that's just the way they grew up playing, right?
oh yeah, yeah, the style,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's really impressive how responsible they are on both ends early on in their careers. I
Leo
have
Carlson.
yeah Leo Carlson playing fourth line, but he'll be upper echelon of defensive forward metrics, I'm sure. Much like a guy I'll talk about on the USA team, but also has a high ceiling in points. But yeah, I think it's a good roster. I think the goalies can steal some games. Um, it's going to be interesting if they do go with 5 out of 6 starting D as lefties. But yeah, excited to see what they can do. I like a lot of guys on their team, and just excited to see maybe a rivalry between Sweden and Finland reunite, um, and maybe see what team comes out on top. But moving on, we're obviously USA supporters, so I'll save them for last.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Canada next. First line, pretty self-explanatory for some, maybe not for like the box score watcher hockey fan. I'm going Reinhart, McDavid, Braden Point. Those are my first three guys. Um, Reinhart, 57 goals. McDavid, 100 and million points. Point, 46 goals last year. I think a McDavid to Point and Reinhart setup is lethal. Just two guys that can put the puck in the net. Only downfall is they put the puck in the net from the same spot on the ice. Um, they
It's
both
fair.
love that little bumper position, but they're snipers from anywhere. So I like that. Second line, going the Nova Scotia line, Crosby, Marchand, McKinnon.
Wow. Okay.
I think I wouldn't have Marchand on there, but he was already named to the team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, same thing with Zibanejad. I think Zibanejad was already named, which is unfortunate.
Oh, I didn't.
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't really thinking about who was already named when I made this, but I don't really care if I'm being honest. Um, where I leave? Oh, McKinnon third line or second line with Marchand and Crosby. Third line,
Wait, wait,
maybe
wait.
some.
Sorry. Who's going center on that? Sorry to interrupt, but
Oh, Crosby center.
Crosby? Okay,
In
okay.
between Marchand and McKinnon. Yeah. Third line, a little recency or not recency bias, just playing well this year. Shifley, Marner, and Sagan.
Okay.
I got
Nice.
T Sags on there. Veteran, he's a guy, if you tell him to play third line, he'll be an unreal third line role guy, right? And then fourth line, even more just responsible players. Jamie Benn at center.
Okay.
I'm going Adam Lowry, just an absolute horse to play against, just an absolute pain. And then another guy that I will be really upset if he's not in this roster, Travis Konechny. He
Love that.
deserves to be on
Love
the
that.
team. I don't care. I'm a Bedard guy. He's terrible. He doesn't deserve to be on the team. Travis Konechny.
Love that.
He needs to be on this team. He leads the league in penalty kill or shorthanded goals last year. He's just he's just like a worker bee. He never stops
Mm-hmm.
moving his feet. The play he made to Mishkov in OT last night, stripping the guy, falling down, rifling the pass up the middle for the breakaway. He deserves to be on this team. I would hate to play against him. This guy is a thorn in your side, sort of maybe modern day Marchand, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm excited about that fourth line. I want all of them to be on the team. Lowry, I think, deserves it. Konechny definitely deserves it. Jamie Benn, if you tell him to go play fourth line center, he'll be the best fourth line center you've ever seen. So, and then Lowry can also take faceoffs as well. So a lot of size, a little bit of speed and skill, and Ben can finish off those plays from Konechny pretty well. So a little bit of a different, maybe less stars than you may have thought on the Canadian forward group. There's you could have a bunch of different guys on that forward group, but those are the 12 I chose. What are your thoughts on those 12?
Yeah, I really like the way you went. I was so hoping that you would have Konechny, especially because this is like a tournament, right? You're gonna be on
Yeah.
the PK. You're gonna be on the
Yeah.
PK, and Konechny's such a great shout. I think my fourth line, I really like the Adam Lowry pick. But I included not Jamie Benn. I put Hagel in there, especially with
Yeah.
the
Oh, that's my boy. I should have
yeah,
put
it's your
him. He
boy.
deserves to be on the team.
Especially with the John Cooper links too, right? Like,
Yeah. He
um,
deserves to be on that
yeah.
team.
I mean, Hagel, like you basically like
Oh,
he's just like him and Konechny on
imagine
the line would be
Lowry, Konechny, Hagel. Oh, you would never score.
no, you would
Their
never
their their
score
plus minus their plus minus would be like plus
80.
100.
Yeah. You would never be able to leave the zone. They would just keep changing. You would
I
never be
know.
able to leave the offensive zone.
I know.
Yeah. So I would
Nice.
I would have Hagel. And I'd honestly like I'd honestly like Sagan like really really good, but like I'd honestly just like throw Duchesne somewhere in this lineup. Like
Yeah.
his individual skills sometimes like he has some like moments of like brilliance that are just like this guy still got it.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean I would those were like my two people that I was just thinking about were like Hagel and Duchesne. But like I've seen a lot of people like you said, like Bedard, I wouldn't give it to him. Barzell's been hurt the whole year. Dylan Strom.
If this guy wasn't hurt, I would give it to him too. Robert Thomas, I would put him on there, but he's been
Oh
injured.
yeah. Dylan Strom, I don't think he beats anyone out.
Yeah.
Um Stamkos, Hyman, I don't think they've really deserved it.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Mark Stone should make the team. Um, and we've said our four lines, and then the one name I was confused about whether to go in or not was Sam Bennett because like
Yeah.
just because he's like he's your like like he's the Kachuk of Canada if he
Yeah.
would have made the team,
Yeah.
but no, I think the four lines that you just said, and then even if Hagel does or does not, like Jamie Benn does or does not, like that's four lines of just like lots of skill, lots of responsibility, right? Like Sidney Crosby, like that's just up and down the lineup, guys that can just fly the ice, know their roles, like Shifley, say like Just Canada's gonna be a force just to, in every which way. I do think that their defense is where they lack though, just a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
And yeah, I was, Hagel, I love that shout. I'm going to take him out for Ben. But even if you wanted like point to play center, put Hagel on the first line with McDavid. You know he can play with the stars, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
so. But moving on, defense. I got Makar and Tays. They're going to play together. Morrissey, he's been unreal this year, and then Dougie Hamilton, and then I have Shea Theodore and a healthy Drew Doughty.
Nice.
And then in the net, I have Logan Thompson actually as the starter. If he's eligible, which I guess he isn't at the moment because he doesn't have a Canadian passport,
Passport.
Joey Decord. But I would go Logan Thompson right now. And then Bennington. Anything to keep Aiden Hill off the roster, in my opinion.
I love that.
But yeah, I think there's a few D that have been really good this year that may deserve it based on their play this year. Um, I've loved Sanheim this year. I think he's great. Um, but I don't think he'll make the team. Um, but yeah, I think their D is good enough. Um, I think that's a fair assessment of their defense. Um, but yeah, what say you?
I had the D exactly the same, believe it or
All right,
not.
good for
Yeah.
us. Good for us.
Um, yeah, so I guess our minds were on the same page there. But the
It's
goal the
close.
goal
I think it's close to consensus.
oh
Those
yeah, yeah.
six.
I agree. But the goalies is where I steer just a tad bit different. I would love to see Joey Decord get that passport. So if that were to happen, I'd say, yep, starting. Um, but like I'm putting Binner as my starter. Like I
Yeah,
don't care. Like that guy is
he's not
not
a righty.
yeah, he's not a righty. That's like the number one criteria. Second is name's not Aiden Hill. Third is
Exactly.
like bit of a nut job, won a Stanley Cup, like robbed, absolutely robbed. Was it Konechny who he robbed?
Couturier last night.
Couturier. Okay.
That was one of
Uh,
the saves of the year. That was an insane save.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think Bennington with that whole lineup is gonna like be will be a backbone that they won't really need. So I think Benner is your starter, and I'd honestly I think he's skating or like supposed to be back this week. I'd honestly throw Darcy Kemper like
Yeah,
he
why
hasn't
not,
been
right?
terrible. Like he's only played 10 games. I just looked like I just saw, but he hasn't been terrible. Like he's a 9-10 save and a 2 and change goals against. So I'd honestly throw him in there, and then if I have to have a third, I guess I throw Aiden Hill in. But yeah, but I think Canada's going to be fine goaltending wise, um, and I mean we have the same people with D-man. I just didn't want Bouchard to make it, so that's why I went that route for the
Yeah,
D2.
I don't. I think he'll make it, but I don't want him to make it.
I don't want
Uh,
him to make it whatsoever.
yeah, I think Canada's roster is the hardest. They just have so much. Like
So many guys.
I think it's embarrassment of riches is the right term, or plethora of riches or whatever. But there's
Mm.
just so many guys, right? And I think what we sort of have at the forefront of our minds is, not the 12 most skilled, but the 12 that can, win you games effectively, which is, I think, an issue with potentially the American team.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think the Canadian team is unreal, obviously. Um, I mean, if a guy like Bedard makes it, he probably is not going to play. If
Yeah.
I'm honest, although he has looked a little confident in the last 2 games, but 2 games is not doesn't do it for me. Um, so yeah, I saw Dan Powers on Twitter today. Actually, he's a guy that does the what the hell podcast does he do?
Don't know. I know it's not that Oiler one or the 32 Thoughts.
It's with it's him and his brother. Stick on the ice, maybe something like that. But he said it's time for people to be okay with the conversation that Celebrini should make the team over Bedard. I thought that was pretty funny. Celebrini's, he's
He-
unreal.
He's yeah.
He's leading the league in stats that, you want a young guy to lead in, and it's usually hard for those guys to lead in. But yeah, he's been fantastic, and we'll, touch on him and another rookie who's playing well out in the Bay Area soon. But moving on to the US, first line, I got Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, and then I got his boy. I got Clayton Keller, first line with Matthews. They're best friends, played together when they were young. Yeah. Second line, I got Tage, Thompson,
Nice.
Jack Eichel, Kyle
Nice.
Connor. And
Nice.
then third line, pending if he's back from his, I assume he'll be back from his leave. JT Miller, Matt Boldy. I'm Miller at center, Matt Boldy. And I got my boy, PK88. I don't care that he's been bad this year. I don't care. If you think of United States hockey for the past 20 years, you see 88 in the red, white, and blue. You need this guy in the red, white, and blue. Veteran, power play specialist. Matt Boldy is a great defensive winger, can pick up for the
Yep.
slack. You need Patrick Kane on the team. Biased Blackhawk fan, but you need Patrick Kane on the team. And then I have Dylan Larkin, fourth line center. I got Brady Tkachuk. And then I got my boy. I got Brock Nelson, fourth
Yes,
line,
love
left
that.
wing. Brock Nelson, future Maple Leaf. He
Oh,
needs to be on the team. So those are my 12. Some bias in there, but I think Brock Nelson actually deserves to be on the team. Kane, maybe not. But those are my 12. Your
nice.
thoughts?
Um, I hate to break it to you,
I
but
will
when
I will die on this sword, by the way. I will never have Jason Robertson on this team. He is
yeah,
so bad. I will stand by that. He is terrible.
I just I can see why you think Patrick Kane is USA Hockey, but if you surveyed 50 million people of USA Hockey, it's that Oshie shootout. Like,
He's retired, basically.
I know, but like that will be the USA
Just
Hockey moment that will always live in my head. And that
yeah,
quick, yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, Patty
whatever.
Kane, yeah, whatever.
Patrick Kane, we
Um,
need him.
but I obviously didn't have Patrick Kane in my lineup.
Nobody does. It's okay. Nobody does.
I had Getzel.
Yeah,
Um,
well, whatever. He can be the
yeah,
third line guy.
whatever. I had no Robertson, like you said. I didn't know about JT Miller, so I threw Brock in there. Obviously, and then I had no Robertson, and who was the other guy I didn't have? Oh, no Kreider. Anything besides Kreider.
Yeah, no, I don't have Kreider in there either.
Yeah,
Um,
anyone but those two. And then I gave Cole Caulfield, like, I don't know if my math worked out because I just listed guys. I didn't make lines. I had him at like my 13th or my scratch.
yeah, I took a long look at Cole Coffee. He's definitely played well enough this year, but I think I don't know. He's not going to play in the top six, right?
Oh
Like,
no, no.
so I was sort
And
of thinking, can you rely on him as a bottom six role? And I
no.
didn't think he was over the other guys. So that's why I didn't go Cole Caulfield, but he's definitely played well enough to deserve a spot in the lineup. Defense, I'm going Hughes McAvoy, top pair. I got Werenski, second pair with John Carlson. And then I got Slavin and Fox. Although I really want to put Brock Faber in there.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if he'll beat out any of those six. Um, all those guys are playing at a pretty high level right now. Maybe aside from McAvoy, he's probably playing the
He
least
was
well.
listed previous.
Yeah, I know, which
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see Brock Faber maybe get some games. And then Hellebuck and Ottinger, obviously, in the net. Swayman has sort of removed himself from that conversation a little bit with his play of late. But yeah, I think the D and the goalies are pretty consensus for the team, unless somebody has a hot take.
How about Werenski, by the way?
He's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that
Super
whole Blue
good.
Jackets team has been like under the radar, like really
I'm
cool.
watching the Blue Jackets right now. The
Yeah,
puck is dropped between the Blue Jackets and my Blackhawks.
yeah.
The battle
Um,
is terrible.
no, no, the Blue Jackets got you. Don't.
Oh, definitely they have us.
Yeah. Well, at least Taylor Hall hat trick.
Yeah, good for us, right?
Yeah, I mean he got healthy scripts a few weeks ago. So
First hat trick in 11 years.
is it really? That's what it was.
11 years. 2013 is the last time he had a hat trick.
It's crazy. So he didn't even get one on the Devils then.
Nope.
Wow. All right, fair.
I mean,
Um,
he won the Art Ross with like 85 points.
yeah. Well, didn't Jamie Benn like also like 88 or something? Like,
Jamie Benn at 87.
yeah.
Uh,
Um,
no, I think Hall had like 94 or something.
um, if you had John Carlson, right?
Hmm.
I had Hannafin. It's just because I like Hannafin's game a little
Yeah.
more than Carlson, so that's just personal bias.
Yeah, I was just
Um,
looking for a righty.
oh yeah, that's fair.
And I'm an Adam
Um,
Fox hater, so any righty to put above Adam Fox, I'll put.
yeah. And then instead of my third goalie as Swayman, I gave it to the friendly giant in Leafland, Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
but the other two
Who's the
kept them as
I'm
you.
forgetting. Oh, Bill Guerin is the
Yeah,
USA GM. I was trying to remember who it was.
yeah. So
Um, but I think those
who?
are some.
Yeah. Sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead, you got it.
No, no, no. All you, all you.
Well, I want to hear what you were going to say because I think it was
Oh
an
no,
interesting.
well, I wasn't gonna, I was gonna, you were summing it up. I was gonna steer it to something else.
Quick timeout. I'm going to steer it to one more thing. Connor Bedard power play goal. He's back. He's on the roster. Team Canada. John
Team,
Cooper. I know you sent in the lineup last night, but maybe give some consideration. But no, I was gonna say I think those are some pretty high quality rosters by all four nations. Um, I'm so excited for 2026 when, I hope Russia can play. Maybe
mm,
not under like Russia, but maybe as like Olympic
yeah,
athletes of Russia, like everybody else.
yeah, or
Because
rest of the world or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
whatever. Like I think that would be so cool. Because there's a lot of great Russian players. Like a
oh
lot
yeah,
of the great league guys in the league are Russian players. A lot of young guys that are great Russians. And maybe some undercover guys in the KHL that may surprise some people if they make the team. So, and then obviously their goaltending is fantastic. So, I'm really excited for this tournament. I'm excited to see who's on the roster, um, who maybe some snubs are.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, so I think our rosters overall are pretty similar. I think we sort of all had a lot of the same thought processes behind, who we would like to see on the roster. So excited to see later this week what what the GMs came up with and wanted to put on their roster for hopefully. Is it like they get a turn? Like, what do they get if they win? Do they get anything? I don't even know.
might just be bragging rights,
Bragging
honestly.
rights,
Yeah,
which
or like
which
first nation, first tournament held, first
yeah.
team to win and whatnot. But
Yeah.
who do you going that way? Who do you think comes out on top? You had to say,
I like Sweden.
yeah,
They never lose preliminary round games in these events. I think in the IAHF and like World Juniors, they've gone like 1,000-0 or like 1,001 in preliminary games. I think their goalies are fantastic. I like their center depth. Maybe they don't have the most firepower on offense. I'm only saying this because I think if John Cooper went the route of like win games, not best players, I think Canada is going to win.
yeah,
But I think there's going to be some pressure to put some guys on there that maybe not fit the roles correctly. Um, I think I have a tough time as well because I think a lot of projections with Team USA, they have Kyle Connor like third, fourth line. I'm like, you can't have this guy on the fourth line.
Yeah.
You physically can't. Um, so yeah, I think Sweden, they will accept their role, adapt to their role, and do the best they can in their role. And I'll go Sweden because it's fun and it's not the two main teams that everybody thinks is going to win.
Yeah, I think it's Canada Sweden final 100%. Um I I I would like to see Sweden win, but I have more, I guess, more players I like on Canada. So that would be like cool, but I would love to see Sweden win the tournament, honestly, because I think that would just help the game out even more.
Yeah.
In the respect of not growing the game, but in the respect of, like, attributing more flowers. Because I can't think of the word, but, like, giving more grace to NHLers that you don't really think about as much, or like Lundell, right? Like, one of the best, like, such a good player, but, like, is he really talked about a lot? Like, no. So you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
would be really cool. So
I think it'll put a spotlight on a lot of guys that
yeah,
maybe are looked at from the outside as not like elite NHLers. Um, but I mean, even the I'm gonna harp on him because he's on my Blackhawks. The Pat Maroons of the NHL are like way better than like a lot of amateurs combined.
mhm,
Uh, so I think it'll shine some light on some guys that maybe don't get, like you said, the respect, the praise, the flowers, like you said, that other guys get. And yeah, I'm just excited for. It'll be interesting because guys play against all these guys all year, but when you put on the USA, the Canada Leaf, um, the Finland Lion, and the three crowns, a lot of pride comes with those jerseys
yeah,
and everything, and I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on and get excited for.
exactly.
So um, I think I was talking to my parents, and they're going to be in Boston for my sister's birthday, and I was like, "You guys should actually go to this. Like, it would be sick to go to." And they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe they're not going to
Hmm.
go, but
Yeah.
they're not going to go." But I was like, "That would be sick to like be at." I don't know how, because I know it's in Montreal and Boston. But I don't know which teams are where, if they both play at both, or I have no idea.
Yeah,
So
I have no clue the schedule. I just know they're in Boston, and I'm getting mass emails every day about ticket sales and everything.
I would go, dude. It would be so cool.
Mm.
But yeah, I think enough with the best on best talk. A lot of stuff, not a lot of stuff, but a good amount of stuff happened around the league. I think we prefaced this before. Um, the the youngsters on the Sharks are popping off. Um, since Celebrini's come back from injury, I believe he has 6 goals, maybe
Yeah,
6 goals.
yeah, because he is 8 on the year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
6 goals and like I don't know, 6 assists for 12 points or 14 points or whatever. Um, I believe he's 14 points in 15 games now in his young NHL career. He's driving play. He's not afraid to get into battles. He's actually leading the league in puck battles, one per 60 minutes.
it's
So
crazy.
as an 18-year-old, that's nuts. Like that's crazy. And he's also leading the league in rush attempts per 60 minutes. Um, so those are two stats that, if your 18-year-old is leading the league in that, you're in a good spot. And then as well, Will Smith, some growing pains to start. Got healthy scratched a few times earlier in the year, but he's gotten hot as of late. He has 7 points in his last 4 games, I believe, 3 goals, 4 assists, or 4 goals, 3 assists. So um, great that, they're playing well. The Sharks are fun. Like they're fun to watch. They might give up 6 goals, but they'll score 8. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So if you want, if you're bored and you want to watch some high flying pace,
that
put
Kraken
on
game.
put on the Sharks.
Yeah,
I mean, you might have to talk about Philip Grubauer and how bad he was in that game. Uh, but it's just fun to watch, man. Like these young guys they're bringing eyes to the Bay Area again. And, I saw someone, he was like, this guy is the most fun Shark since Joe Thornton's rookie season. Um, so it's just fun. I'm happy for the Sharks fans. Um, I've loved watching them. They're fun to watch. I'll put them on. So yeah, good for those guys to um, get it going.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, I just wanted to say Canucks Red Wings, 1 minute left in overtime,
Ooh,
4-4.
wow, 4-4.
Yeah, yeah, absolute barn burner there. And it's, I guess since I just brought it up, Quinn Hughes just
Yeah.
took over, surpassed Alex Edler to become the Canucks all-time leader in assists by a defenseman. So kudos to Quinn. And it's such a quick um young career, which already is like heavily decorated. So another thing for him, and good for him. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like that Sharks team, Celebrini, Will Smith, even guys like Eklund, like who are a few years in the league, like super fun to watch. Great talent. Like Celebrini, like some of his shots, like I forget who it was against, but whichever one was like along the boards, like, and he like barely,
LA.
yeah, Riddick. Yep.
So sick.
Such a yeah, Riddick had like didn't even know, like it was
Yeah.
like it was such a place shot, and it was along the boards too, like just unreal talent, you know.
He didn't take a stride from the red line 20 shot. He just stood still, scanning the ice,
Yeah,
and just he was scanning and just ripped it. And it was perfect. Far side.
yeah,
It was beautiful.
very Mike Bossy-esque, both feet
Oh,
on the ice.
respect
um
Mike Bossy.
yeah.
He's a
um
he's a forgotten legend of the game.
yeah,
Just
he's
to
like, I didn't realize that not a lot of guys like did 50 and 50. Like there's
nope,
only
like nobody, like
like
almost nobody.
Brett Hull, Bossy, Gretzky, and like Lemieux, and like one other guy. Like
Yeah, he,
it's crazy.
if he, I think he had 1,200 points in like 500 games or
Yeah,
something. Like
yeah.
he had like 500 and
He
something goals in like 583 games. It
he
was
plays eight
nuts.
years. Like he plays
Yeah,
8 years or
it's
something. Like,
nuts. If he played as long as like Gordie Howe or
oh
like
my god.
Phil Kessel, I mean, it's terrible how his career ended and everything, but
Yeah.
he would be close to. I think he would have the most goals probably.
He, put it this way, it's in another universe he does.
Yeah, and another university does. Shout out to the Islanders. 3-0 win yesterday. Simon Holmstrom, um,
Masterclass.
elite, um, but nobody cares about Simon Holmstrom. Just to touch on the Quinn Hughes accolade, he did it in 531 less games than Alex Edler did it. I'm pretty sure is what the stat was, which is
Mental.
531 games is a career for people. Uh, so it just goes to show you how special he is as a talent. Um, won the Norris last year, deservedly so. Probably won't win it this year with how Cale Makar is playing, but Quinn Hughes definitely deserves to be in the running again. Um, I'm watching the Blue Jackets right now. Trade between the Blue Jackets and the Minnesota Wild. Billy G, as he's making the Four Nations roster, made some roster changes to his young blue line core that he's building. Traded for David Yurchek, sixth overall pick in the 2022 draft.
Yeah.
6'4", 200-pound right shot D man, hot commodity in the league today. Um, Building a beautiful right or decor with Faber, Yurchek, and Zeev Buyam. So it'll be exciting to watch those guys. Columbus got a first, second, third, and seventh, I think, or fifth, and Damon Hunt, who is whatever.
Yeah. It was
Filler,
just like franchise
filler.
mode. You needed a little bit more of the
Yeah,
bar. Like
exactly. Um, and then I think Minnesota got a fifth back in return as
they did.
well.
They did.
So I like the aggressiveness from Billy G. he knows his team's probably going to be in the playoffs. So, first round pick, who cares? I like the return for both teams. I think draft capital is good for Columbus, but maybe you want a young guy. When the news first broke, I actually thought they were going to give up Marco Rossi, because there had been rumblings that they were trying to trade Marco Rossi. But I think I think it's good for the Wild that they didn't have to give up one of their good prospects because they already have one of the deepest prospects pools in the league. And what's his name? Yurchek already got called up to the big club today. So probably will be able to make his debut relatively soon. And we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah. And I think that trade's really fair. Like you said, for the Blue Jackets, they get a boatload of picks out of it, which is, no, there's never a complaint really, getting like that. And then such like a weird like sort of like year because the Blue Jackets like are okay, and then you have a guy like Sean Monahan who's putting up the a crazy bounce back year since he hasn't had since Winnipeg really.
Yeah.
Um, and then Marchenko, he's scoring like we already touched on Renski having such a great year. And then you got like young guys still, solidifying themselves like Fantilli, Kent Johnson.
He's been
Um,
unreal this year. Ken
yeah.
Johnson, really good.
So I think you know what, you lose one, but you have a solid system right now at Nationwide Arena. I think it's what it's called. So yeah, I think it's a good trade for both teams, honestly. Kent Johnson just scored, I think. So, um, yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good trade. And it just shows what maybe the Wild Kirill leads the league in points now. So just another, I don't know, just another team getting better.
Exactly. Exactly. And not afraid to give stuff up to get better, which I love.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ken Johnson one time from the half wall.
Nice.
2-1 Blue Jackets.
Yep.
That's Bedard's boy too. They're like best friends, which sucks, but whatever. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, Stars of the Month. NHL released their Stars of the Month. First Star of the Month, Martin Necas.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had 22 points, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points in 15 games, which elite. Mikko Rantanen, I believe he had 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points in 15 games. And then Hellebuck, he played like 8 games. He was like 6-2 with a 1 something and a 930 something. So pretty self-explanatory. Although the Jets have sort of been on a little bit of a slide in the last 8. I think they're three and
Yeah.
five in their last 8. I believe they played today.
Yeah, they
Uh,
do versus Dallas, 4 o'clock
yeah,
game or
yeah,
6:30. Sorry.
yeah. So maybe they'll be able to, strap on the boots and get their lunch pails and get down and dirty and take down a Central Division rival. They were able to. Did they beat the Wild?
The who? The
The
Jets?
Jets. Did they beat the
No, I
Wild
thought
the
they
other day?
I thought they lost.
Maybe.
I'll
I
I'll
knew
I'll
it was
check.
close.
Um, just quickly on a separate note, DeBrusque got his hat trick and Canucks won an OT.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. Schedule.
Where's this dude?
They no, they beat the Wild 4-1.
All
My
right, that's
my
what I
bad.
thought.
My bad.
It's-
My bad. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So looking to, take down both of the higher division rivals in, a few days' time, 5 or so days. So they're fun to watch. Hellebuck's been great. Rantanen's been great. He's been fun to watch as well. And then obviously Natchez has been on a tear, right?
Oh yeah.
Is he second in the league in points still after Kaprizov took over? I believe he's second in the league with 38 points, 37
30,
points.
37, Eichel 36,
Yep.
in the three.
McKinnon's got 36 as well, and then Kaprizov is 38. So
Yep.
one point off the league lead. So yeah, those three guys have been um, dandies to watch. Reinhardt still leads the league in goals. And I think this is it's a big time for a lot of teams, right? Um, we'll talk about the Islanders because it's a good representation of how bad the Eastern Conference has sort of been this year. Um, the Islanders are 9, 10, and 6, I think. 9, 10, and 6.
24 points.
24 points. So 9 and 16. And they are, I think, 3 points out of a playoff spot or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think the wish list, or I saw some what every NHL team is thankful for on Thanksgiving. The Islanders are thankful for the loser overtime point
Hmm.
because there have been teams that are lacking a lot of wins and good wins, and everybody's sort of just beating everybody.
Hmm.
Therefore, it's making for quite the mid Eastern Conference. You
Yeah.
obviously have the top teams, the Capitals, the Hurricane, and
Atlantic.
whatever, the
Yeah.
Leafs, the Lightning, whatever. But the Bruins, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, the whatever. Everybody just sort of beats everybody,
Yeah.
which is good. You want that. You want some, you don't want all the best teams to be the best teams or whatever. I think that's what's good about the NHL is any team can beat any team on any given night, which is awesome. But there have been some bad records that are being rewarded. And I'm not saying to get rid of the loser overtime point, but I it's masking some pretty bad play.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're talking about the Islander team who led the league in overtime shootout losses last year.
And they're
So
already halfway there.
I
I
know.
think what did they have last year? 17 or some nonsense?
I thought it was more, but yeah, probably.
Yeah. 17 or something? And we have
Yeah.
6 through 24 games.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think.
we're dash 9 goal differential already.
Yeah. We're so bad.
But the Islanders are just a representation of being a stubborn hockey team with a stubborn GM who didn't want to start to rebuild 8 years ago, or no, 3 years ago when they should have. So
I was watching this Instagram live video after their loss to the Capitals. Drive for Five. Love the channel. It's okay content. He's a bit of a buffoon. But he was taking questions from fans. And he
yeah.
was saying that the season ticket holders have the power here in this situation for the Islanders. That the season ticket holders need to cancel their season tickets so that Scott Malkin realizes he's losing so much money and then he'll fire Lou. But that's not even what I'm mad about. Someone asked, um, would it be a possibility to trade Noah Dobson?
We have
And I'm,
to.
and I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, you could trade him. And he was like, what would the return be? This guy said, and this is the issue with the Islanders. This guy said, no, nobody is looking for a right shot defenseman, top four right shot defenseman in the league. I was baffled. I said, a top four right shot defenseman is the hottest commodity in the
Yeah.
entire National Hockey League. And he's only making $4 million. 4 million. And he's playing poorly. So the fact that he's an RFA doesn't even really mean anything because he's not going to get 9.5 like he would have last year. And I'll give kudos to Lou for that, for not signing him to 9.5 last year when he could have on July
Well,
1st. But the fans are some of the issue. These fans are delusional. The team is delusional. The fans are delusional. Our GM is going to like fall over and die any day now, hopefully. We don't wish harm on anybody, but Lou Lamoriello, you need to go. We've already sat through Garth Snow. We've sat through Mike Milbury. who was probably the worst of them all. But thank God they got rid of him so fast because we probably would have been bankrupt.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's so frustrating watching this team. They did get a good win last night, I guess. I mean, it's the Sabres. They suck. Um, we finally scored a power play goal. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's struggle bus on Long Island.
Yeah. They they need to start shipping pieces because they can't afford anyone, and their best defenseman, its contract's up, and he's 24 years old, and I'm sure a lot of teams are going to want him.
Yep. And I believe Romanov is up
Well, that's what I'm
after.
talking about. Our 24-year-old best defenseman.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, no.
I just want to confirm. Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm sure he's our best defenseman.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Um, and then the only positive is that Palmieri and Nelson are upping their trade value. Um, for us not to trade them, but we should. Uh,
we'll
but
never
yeah.
trade Brock. We'll never trade. Like that will never happen.
One thing I did hear on that Instagram video that I actually sort of did reconcile with a little bit. They said there needs to be open communication at the deadline, trade them, and then say, we'll just sign you back in the in the in the in the summer.
Well, they can't do that. They can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't do that. NHL just released the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it that should be done. Yes. But
Well,
yeah,
because then you're
I
trading them for nothing, right? Like
yeah. But
you're just
yeah,
it's a win-win for you.
exactly.
Oh man.
Do you
Any
really
other
think I could see KP leaving? Do you really think Brock gets the trade? Because I don't think so. The
They're
way
not
that
going
they
to trade
didn't,
anybody. If
yeah,
anything, they're going to bring somebody in for no reason. They're going to bring in like Ilya Mikheyev or something.
yeah, bunting when he's back from injury.
Yeah, he scored last night, actually. Penguins are low key kind of hot. I think they've won three in a row.
Well, Jari back-to-back wins.
Yeah. Shout out to Philip Tomasino as well.
Yeah,
The Predators seem to be saying yes to every phone call that comes their way regarding some sort of trade or move or whatever.
Scott Wedgwood. No,
Scott Wedgwood. Oh my God. Sorry.
you're fine.
Connor plays defense now. He just saved the goal on a block shot. So John Cooper, pick up the phone. Um, but what was it? Oh, Philip Tomasino came over, 2 goals in 2 games. Just a young guy that's never really sort of found his footing. Um, but maybe he'll find a home in Pittsburgh now. Good on Kyle Dubas for sort of rebuilding as he's going, sort of thing. Getting young players and stuff like that. But yeah, the Penguins have won three in a row. Offensive explosion last night or for 6 goals. Uh, and it really wasn't by way of the Stars. I think their second power play unit scored 2 goals potentially. Crystal Tank scored. Raquel scored off a great feed from Crosby. And then Blake Lizotte scored as well. So, yeah. And then the Senators are also part of that, the East is terrible situation. Um, and every game it goes back and forth whether or not the rebuild is over or not. Currently it's over. It's not over because they lost to the Kings. Yeah, the Kings.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just so
I,
frustrating how some of these teams that need to have been in rebuilds for 10 years, legit almost 10 years,
they're
are
waiting for their
still
new
terrible.
building. They're waiting for the new building.
They must. They must be. It's the same thing with the Sabres. The Sabres, the Senators, the Red Wings, they're all terrible still.
Well, the Sabres are getting handicapped by Lindy Ruff. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean the Senators and they had like a decent start too. Like,
I know. They were hot. And then Omar forgot how to play goalie.
and then the Lightning realized like, hey, like we're still Tampa. Like we we can like pick up like we can start winning some more games. So
Yeah,
and then
let's check out the Atlantic. Where's the Ottawa Senators? 10,
they're
12, and
seventh,
1. 10,
seventh,
12, and
21
1.
points. Yep.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But there's four teams in the division who are 11 and 11 or 10 and 11. It's like these teams are terrible.
Yep.
God, they're so bad. Look at the Islanders, one of six teams with single digit wins still. So bad. So bad.
You know what's the worst part? Like I would bet on the Ducks and the Sharks getting it before them. Like
Yeah, maybe not the Ducks. I see the Ducks as sort of a microcosm of what the Red Wings are doing.
yeah, that's fair. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it is what it is. Exciting week of NHL games upcoming, I believe. Um, I I think you said this off camera, but the Four Nations rosters are going to be reviewed on TNT Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
come
fourth.
on, Hawks TNT Wednesday.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. I think they're revealing Canada and USA after Sweden and Finland. I think Sweden and Finland are the first intermission potentially,
Hmm.
and Canada and USA are the second intermission. Um, so be on the lookout for those. Uh, if any of my roster makes it, I'm going to be the next GM of some team, um, and we're going to win the Stanley Cup. So from the postseason pod to Stanley Cup champions, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, exciting week of NHL coverage ahead. Any other thoughts that you would like to share?
Um, no, I guess I mean that's like the biggest news, right? Like
Yeah,
just, everyone's anticipating Four Nations. Everyone's excited to see I guess how teams went, whether that's, feeling obliged to choose goal scorers and superstars or trying to build a team that will actually win the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see not only people's reactions like mainstream media, the TNT guys' reactions, and then just your own personal vendetta reaction. So
yeah.
yeah, I guess I got really nothing to say.
Awesome. Well, I hope everybody enjoys the last few hours of the weekend and the holiday break, and back to reality a little bit tomorrow with the week starting, school starting again, and yeah, so excited for everything of that nature to start again. I guess a little bit, not really, but sort of. But yeah, appreciate everybody for watching and listening. Episode 10. We'll be back with you shortly. So.
Yeah,
Happy holidays, everybody.
say it.